What's up, boys and girls, cats and dogs, whatever the hell else you want to call yourself? This is Griever, bringing you a One Punch Man content video. And I know, you're sitting to yourself going, did something happen with Garo? Griever's doing a One Punch Man content video, but he doesn't even like One Punch Man. It must be about Garo. It must be about Garo. No, ladies and gentlemen, it is not about Garo. It is about the revisions, as you guys can tell from the title. A lot of people are making these type of videos, and I just wanted to make a quick, 15, 20-minute video discussing what the fan base thinks of these revisions and what I think of these revisions, and just kind of go from there, because this is a huge, massive choice by Mirada to do this. If you guys don't know, it's been weeks and weeks. I don't know how far in. I know that One Punch Man stans are sitting there cradling themselves in the fetal position, looking at Twitter every half hour on the half hour, going, "Where's our new chapter? Where's our new chapter? I can't imagine a time when One Punch Man didn't exist." Those are the stans. Those are the creepy level of stans, the zealous. They are doing that right now. Me, I just noticed I haven't done a chapter review in a while, a live reaction review. And because, once again, not a One Punch Man stan, so you're wondering to yourself, why are you talking about this? Because this is something I don't think, it could have been done, but I don't think I've ever seen it done. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. In manga. I don't remember a single series I have ever followed that blatantly went back and completely changed the context, the tone, and the entirety of a major fight in a manga. I don't think that has ever actually happened before. There has been tweaks, changes, redraws, a couple of, like Mirada is classic for doing this. You could call him a perfectionist. He has gone back to the same fight before, and he's done redraws just because he's like, I don't really like how the character model looks of Child Emperor in this one panel. So he doesn't change the whole page. He just redraws that panel to make it look better. We're not talking about redraws. We're talking about rewriting it. And I understand from looking at Discord and looking at Reddit and looking at a few YouTube videos about this subject where the fan base right now of One Punch Man is extremely split, it seems, on this issue. Because should he be allowed to do this in the first place? That's the number one question. So either way, I want to go over this a little bit. First and foremost, I want to tell you guys, I like the revision. I think it's better. It's just better. The fight, and I love Phoenix Man. And by the way, the tickle bug is the worst thing to happen to manga in history. But that's my just quick 2 points, what I think of the Phoenix Man, Child Emperor, and tickle bug. The thing is that this entire fight was a very serious, very epic, very massive fight that ended on the worst note in manga history. Opinion. And Mirada, this fight has been out for a long time. The Phoenix fight, when was that? Wasn't that like late 2018? Was it that far back? I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a long time. We've long passed Phoenix Man. We've moved on to other things. There's Saitama Orochi, there's Tatsumaki, there's Psychos, there's Zombie Man, there's Child Emperor versus, what's his name? There's Garo and Darkshine. There are so many other events that have taken place right now that there's Drive Night versus Nian. So too much has happened. We're not talking about, okay, he ends the fight, it's poorly received, so he decides to go back and go, version 2.0. We're talking months, at least. I didn't check any facts, so was it over a year? I don't know. Suffice it to say, we're not talking about redraws or revisions. Well, we are talking about revisions. We're not talking about changing a few lines of dialogue to suit the power scaling. We're not talking about, okay, this didn't really make sense, I just got to redraw this one panel on this one page in this one chapter. We're talking about completely... Here's the equivalent. If Tite Kubo in Bleach redrew the Ukiura versus Ichigo fight, a major fight, and no, I got one. Yeah, we'll use that fight. Very popular fight. No Vasto Lorde Ichigo. No, like the fight is completely redrawn. There's no crying Orihime. There's no hollow hole through Ichigo's chest. There's no Vasto Lorde. Ukiura doesn't even die by the end of it. How about that? That is the equivalent of this change. Phoenix Man is not dead by the end of this. That's a change. So Ukiura not dead. Some of the forms, some of the like the way the thing happens. Let's call it the equivalent of Ichigo not dying and turning Vasto Lorde. And the fight is done in a different kind of almost... no. Instead, Renji and... instead of Orihime being there, Rukia and Renji are now present at the fight. And Renji assists, gets a one hit off on Ukiura with a Bankai. Like, I'm trying to, like, do a quick comparison, but don't you see right away with just these changes how that entire epic fight between Ichigo and Ukiura is now... It's not even the same fight. It's not even the same story anymore. That's not a redraw. That's redone. That's going back. That's giving Crocodile Hockey to beat Luffy in Alabasta. That's Oda going back and redoing that. That's... The question I'm posing for this video is just to ask that question. To say... Is it fair that Mirada did this? Once again, I like the revisions for so many reasons. Phoenix Man gets a little more compelling backstory. Child Emperor, didn't even like him very much before. Actually hated him for the Ticklebug thing for a while. I calmed down and just blamed the Ticklebug in general. But Child Emperor, not a fan favorite character from this guy. However, this character development here. Zombie Man. Even Saitama. Guys, for those of you who don't know, I dislike Saitama. I do not like Saitama. Part of the reason I can't One Punch Man stan. I don't like it. But I don't like Saitama as the force, should I say. That's why I like the Garo section of it. Because Garo's the true main character in my eyes, and it changes the feeling of the story I have. But here, it just seems like, would anybody else be allowed to get away with this? And should this be allowed? Because now we've entered an alternate universe. Now we have an AU. So which one is canon? Because the forms, the abilities, Brave Giant and Phoenix Man are completely overhauled here. So... Now, especially with One Punch Man being probably the biggest, like that and One Piece being the two biggest power scaling arguments on the internet in the manga anime community, literally going back and retconning and changing stuff to this degree, I don't know. I know Oda, Kubo, Kishimoto, Mashima, I know they all would take huge criticism for if they pulled this. So, though I like the changes, it was actually a good Saitama moment. And for me, guys, I don't like Saitama. So for me to praise Saitama, I think Saitama as a character actually showed character in this. He's not just some one-note, boring, hypocritical character. He actually had not necessarily development for him, but we actually saw some character from him. We saw some emotions, not the right word, but just something, anything from this deadpan character. We finally saw something. And I was extremely happy for that, because that's part of the thing that holds me back from liking One Punch Man more. And so Saitama, great in these revisions. Zombie Man. I liked Zombie Man before. This just made me like him even more. And the fact that he was praising Child Emperor. the amount of character development here that was not present in the revisions is 10 out of 10. Beautiful. I don't forgive the tickle bug whatsoever. But Child Emperor instead is almost redeemed in my eyes. The thing is that the revisions truly were far better from a character development standpoint, from a characterization standpoint. And it showcases that Phoenix Man was far superior to Child Emperor, which some people believed, like I did before these revisions. However, we see that Saitama kind of saved Child Emperor. That Child Emperor would have lost, would have died at least once, if not twice, were it not for Saitama's intervention. Now I can buy the fact that Child Emperor managed to defeat him with the assist, so to speak. So yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video and talk about this because I think it was great. I think the idea of adding, and I think it was a Greek god from my Discord said, the tickle bug, though terrible, is actually at least a little more understandable because Saitama was present, because penguin mode for Phoenix Man was there. The childish, the more comedic fight, rather than the do-or-die seriousness of the original fight, the tickle bug comes out of nowhere as a comedic element and ruins an otherwise spectacular fight. In this way, where it was taken from a more comedical standpoint, it truly gives us at least a lesser blow. It doesn't feel as bullshit or out of nowhere as it did before. I still hate it, still call it the worst thing in manga, but it's at least built up better because the whole fight has comedic elements. Saitama punching through the psychosis bubble of whatever, a mental world, punching through to get into it. You know, the whole penguin mode thing. Just the different elements that are here, that they have more laughs in this whole thing. And Phoenix Man doesn't actually die. That's a major change as well, because now Phoenix Man is still alive and kicking. So that is a major change as well. You have a character death, and now you don't have a character death. That's a big deal, you know, to show that blatantly. Especially I guess in my opinion, he's a fan favorite of the Dragon class. Everyone really enjoyed Phoenix Man with Brilliant Phoenix Mode and all these things. And I am regenerated, I am amazing. When he got to these different forms and kept rebirthing, he went into these forms that everyone, I don't know a single person wasn't hyped, didn't love. He's one of my favorite dragons. Him and Nian are probably my two favorite dragons from the Monster Association. And I sit back and I look at it and I'm just wondering, but was it okay? Even though I enjoyed it, that's why I'm torn, and that's why I'm posing the question in this video. I'm very torn to decide what camp is right. What camp is right in saying, no, he shouldn't have been allowed to do this? And I see both arguments, because I think this improved the story vastly. I think this improved the fight. The other fight was more epic, more grandiose, more badass, but this fight added more to character. And that's something that One Punch Man needs more focus on for someone like me to enjoy it. You know, Mirada is a fantastic artist. We know he can draw amazing wide panel fight scenes. But the fight scenes still need substance and still need to hold weight for me to enjoy them completely. So having the emotional and the characterization behind this fight meant it was just as good, even though it didn't maybe look as grandiose. So I can see those points. But I can also see the other flip side, that we had some foreshadowing here. There was a big moment that I'm kind of worried about, that now Phoenix Man hinted something, that implanted something into Child Emperor's mind and knows all about the corruption of the Hero Association or who's behind it or something. If that becomes the foreshadowing for something that comes out of nowhere, like, you know, the Kaguya thing from Naruto, or the Still Silver from Bleach, or the what have you, any of these very bad shonen type endings, which I know this is a seinen, but that's just a demographic. If we get a kind of an out of nowhere plot device, Merlin, Chaos, Seven Deadly Sins, if we get something like that, and the reasoning is, oh, well, we actually, in that revised fight, that's not going to fly with me. I don't know about the rest of the fan base, but going back and realizing you went so far in a story, writing, 10, 20 chapters later, and then going, you know what? I really want to plan to do this, and but I didn't foreshadow any of it. It's going to kind of come off as bullshit. It's going to come off really bad, as out of nowhere. Oh, I know. I'll redraw a fight that was like 25 chapters ago, and I'll put foreshadowing there. To me, that's not going to fly. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying that at all. That was a concerned point for me that I could see the other camp going from. Is that if that becomes a major thing and it starts to become part of Child Emperor's story, all based on the revised version, then that's going to not sit well with other fans, because once again, as I posed the question, would other mangakas get away with this? Would they be allowed to go back after 6 months, a year, and redo an entire fight, like from the ground up? We're not talking about redrawing panels. We're talking about redoing a fight. Major changes, major ability changes, retconning the abilities and the power scaling and the transformations, the forms, who dies, who lives, who's even there. This I am concerned with, because I don't think that it's fair that a mangaka, any mangaka, should be allowed to go back and do that. You accept the manga with the faults and the retcons and the problems and the plot issues, and you either choose to love it or hate it nonetheless. That's what it boils down to. You can't go back and after something has already been out there and decide to say, no, you can... I think I've said everything. I've given plenty of examples of why I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, I like this fight. I like the revision. I think it's handled better, and it actually made me enjoy the characters even more. On the other hand, should a mangaka be allowed to go back after X number of months and not redraw, but redo entire chapters from the ground up? I leave that, I pose it to you. I'm a little unsure because, once again, I really enjoyed it on the one hand, and on the other hand, I don't think it's right. I don't think other mangakas would get away with it. I don't think if Tite Kubo had decided to redo something to explain Still Silver from the Soul Society arc, I don't think it would have that wouldn't fly with fans very well. I don't think, we're not talking the anime. The anime deciding to fix little plot problems and foreshadow things better than the manga in different instances, and that's happened before. That's just them going, oh shit, we realized the manga had a slight little bit of an issue there. We'll fix that when we do the anime adaptation. That's fine, because the anime and manga are almost different entities. They're separate. That's fine, because that means they were paying attention and they put actual passion and thought into the anime adaptation. But I cannot see this sitting well with very many fans, especially fans of proper storytelling and manga format. So, but once again, I'm going to leave this this is an open-ended discussion video. If this gets a lot of views and if it's get a lot of controversy and there's a lot of comments or discussions about it, I might just, instead of responding to them all, I might just make a part 2 video discussing everyone else's thoughts, theories, and that kind of stuff about these revisions. Once again, if you want my opinion, I think I'm more in this camp of, I don't think Mirada should have been allowed to go back and redo this much. It's a total overhaul, and I don't think that's fair to do that, because now what happens when he decides to redo the Garo Darkshine? What happens when he decides to redo Orochi? What happens when if he's allowed to go back and do something like this, what's to stop him from rewriting chapter 1? That's what I ask you. That's what I pose. That's my problem. So I think I'm more in this camp than the camp of, I really like this revision. Yes, the revision's great, but I don't know, guys. Once again, bit of a Libra scales going on here. So which is the better option? Let me know. Once again, this video is meant for you guys. I want to know your thoughts, and I wanted to put it out there on YouTube to let you guys know my thoughts about this a little bit, and we can have this as a discussion. As I said, I'll do a part 2 if I get a lot of response for this. If not, no big deal, because I'll still be responding to your guys' comments, of course, and your thoughts and theories. But I just think that if this takes off a little bit, then we're going to need to make a part 2, and we really need to have to go through everybody's comments, everybody's feelings, and really figure out, was this okay to do? You know, regardless whether you think it's better, like I do, better or not, was it, I guess, ethically right or allowed? Is he towing that ethics scale to be allowed to do that? I don't think it's really ethics necessarily. Maybe that's not the right word to use, but anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and once again, truly guys, leave me your thoughts. So like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next time. This has been Griever with a One Punch Man Phoenix Man versus Child Emperor revision discussion. See you guys next time. Peace out.